Hey, duckies. Oh, you guys are getting big. So the video I posted yesterday, or the day before yesterday, or when we got these ducks 2 weeks ago, and it just took me a while to get around to posting the video. I forgot. I thought I posted it. But yeah, when we got them, each one could fit in the palm of your hand, and now each one would roughly fit inside a football with a little room to wiggle. They're getting big really quick. So that's cool. And we've got all our Texture 111 stained. And we are finally getting around to siding the house. Still got to finish the barn, but it's just a quick garden update and duck update, I guess. So these guys are doing really nice. I think these were the pink bumblebees, I think they were. Those are doing good. And these are the yellow pear. And these were jaspers, I think. And we've been eating them right along. But this one I planted about 2 weeks before the other one. And this is an 8-foot 2x3 on the end for the framing. And they're all the way up to the top of the 8-foot. And this was one of the shoots that I was going to trim off, but I knew we were just about to bottom out, so I left this one growing. And this one is probably, I guess we'd say that's probably about 5.5 feet with clusters all the way up. And so this one's probably only about 4 feet. But on these two plants on the end that are shorter, there were some runners that I missed pruning down the bottom. So a lot of that energy was going to bottom growth early on. But I think, I mean, it's first week of August. I still think they'll get to the top of the pole. And the other side of this, I have hooks. One there and one there. So I might have to start training the top of this one to now run down the side of this. And then lash it to the top, because it's just going to keep going. These tomato plants that were just extras that were given to me are doing pretty good. They're a little behind all the other beefsteaks because they were planted like a month after them. That's those guys over there. But these are the cuckoo melon plants, and they're going right up the trellis. And we're starting to get very tiny little cuckoo melons. And there's quite a few of them on there. And what are those, Brussels sprouts? That one and that one. The bugs have been getting to them pretty good, but we sprayed them and they're starting to look better. This is my old worm farm that's not being used right now. I'm just using to kind of contain the potatoes so that they're not shading everything else out. But look at that giant cucumber. And that's pretty good size. We've already gotten four or five cucumbers off there so far. And all those other flowers on there, those will be cucumbers soon. And then we've been moving the rabbits around and keep them in the shade, but they've been doing a good job of mowing the lawn. They've eaten that spot, and 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 that spot. That's all from those guys. And all these spots. But and then we've been just started putting the adult rabbits out. Give them a change of scenery so they're not always looking at the inside of the barn, and give them some fresh pasture. Even though it's, 4 square feet or 6 square feet at a time. What's up, baby blue? It's a little blue otter Rex rabbit. And she's a good mama. She's all those babies in the rabbit tractor are hers. Hey, mama. She is an American chinchilla. And this other one, I'd have to look back through my text messages from a year ago to find out exactly what she is. But she is a I think a Rex rabbit of some type. but she's got really cool colors. When in the light, she has more reddish tints to her, but when she's in the dark, she's more grayish and tans with a white belly. So she's we've had her for about a year. She's a year and a half old. She has not had a litter yet, so I think we're going to breed her soon. So this was the one that I wasn't sure if it was a pumpkin or some type of a melon, and it goes all the way, I mean, these things are friggin' huge. It goes all the way back. It's kind of competing now with the potatoes and the cabbage. There's no bed there. That's used to be pathway, but it goes all the way over to this corner and then spreads out all along the front of the greenhouse, and it's going all the way down there. And this is the yellow zucchini plant that we've been getting 2 or 3 monsters off it a day, and it's got a whole new set of flowers. And this is the green zucchini that we do get some crappy ones, but the chickens eat them. And we've been getting a couple of monsters off these, but we've had a couple of really hot days with not much rain or no water. So the production seems to has slowed down the last couple of days. But our kitchen counter is covered in yellow and green zucchinis. And then this thing, so that's the green zucchini plant, the yellow zucchini plant, and the, I don't know, this is supposed to be either some type of pumpkin or a Crenshaw melon. And that doesn't look like either. So that's pretty cool though. But this thing has got to be a good, stepping on it, 12 feet long. I mean, that's an 8-foot bed with the potatoes and cabbage in it. And that runner runs the entire length of that bed. And it's, whatever it is, it's producing pumpkins or melons every couple of feet. And then it's got these side runners going out. And then it runs another 10 feet down that way with some melons on it. And then I've been training this one to go run along this side. So this box of zucchini is going to be surrounded by whatever this plant is. And then these are the ground cherries, 3 there and 3 there, or Cape gooseberries. Make those little paper lanterns with cherry tomato type fruits in them. There are a couple little ones. Those are flowers that are just turning into something, but I did see a few of them. Little baby ones on here. Oh, right here's one. So that behind these leaves. That's like a tomatillo, but it's sweet, and it's cherry tomato size right there in that little paper pod. And they're hard to find, and then all of a sudden they just jump out at you. But yeah, it's gonna be a bunch of those in there. And then the same thing with the Brussels sprouts over here. They got pretty beaten up by bugs. But we sprayed them down and they seem to be bouncing back. And there's more of those ground cherry plants over here. And then there's the spaghetti squash are starting to make a little squash. That's the and then this guy in the middle was getting all choked out by the spaghetti squash. See, there's a little baby one right there. So I had to trim all these back so this thing could get more sunshine, because whatever that other plant is, this was the one I had planted opposite of it. So this is probably pumpkin, because those don't look like pumpkins on the other plant. And raspberries are growing very well and have lots of new growth. This one was struggling a little bit, but its new growth looks good. They only produce berries on their, I think, on their 2nd year growth. So next year, this will be doing great over here. In fact, I'm going to have to transplant probably half of these and thin them out. But most of the growth in here is all new growth, so we're not going to get a lot of berries off these this year. But strawberries, they've been doing good. They're fairly well loaded right now. I haven't really looked in the middle. And these, this one and this one are those, they're mignette. And they're kind of crappy berries. They're like spongy and dry and not very sweet. I don't think it's the growing conditions, but it's not extremely fleshy. It's more spongy. And it's not terrible to eat, but I have that space taken up when I can have strawberries that taste much better. So those are, I already transplanted one of them into the flower garden because they're still cool plants and they are berries. But we're gonna pull those out and put them in the flower garden, and actually all those strawberries are gonna get transplanted for next year, because that's gonna be, this entire thing's gonna be all asparagus. And asparagus is doing good. I gotta watch out. I keep almost stepping and crushing those plants. Actually, it's more likely it would trip me than I'd kill it. Tomatoes are still absolutely loaded. They haven't really started ripening, but they're everywhere. I forget that I take for granted that the phone can see everything that I'm looking at, and most of the time I'm just rambling and not really aiming the camera. But yeah, there's tomatoes everywhere. Cabbage is doing great. We already harvested one of them. It was a little on the small side, but it was getting choked out pretty bad in the middle. Sunflowers are doing good. They're no flower heads, but these are supposed to get, I think all of them were supposed to get over 10 feet tall. But I planted them close together, and I planted them later in the season, so they might flower shorter than that. We had to trellis them up because they were blowing over in the wind, and it's probably about time for another run of paracord. That's about it. Lettuce is still doing good. We're harvesting that from that just about daily. And thought this was going to be a shorter video, but I really haven't done one in a couple weeks. So yeah, garden's doing great. Everything looks good. I'll cover the fruit trees and berries and all the berry bushes in that area in another video. Alrighty, that's it.